Okay, we have a long one for you, which was not planned, but we plan to do this. Big Cat and Chris Long, we're going to do a festival draft of bands. Hey, that sounds really lame. Hey, how old are you guys? Agreed. I don't care. What do you want to listen to? More stock market updates? I don't. All right, so we're also going to talk a little bit about Brady's decision to leave New England and one of his teammates, Chris Long, who is probably a good source on this stuff. So today's episode of the Russillo podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network is brought to you by State Farm. Just like basketball, the game of life is unpredictable. Talk to a State Farm agent and get a teammate who can help you navigate the unexpected. Unexpected would be maybe a stat like this for an NFL player. You wouldn't expect to make $157,000 per pass attempt. Well, you would if you were Chase Daniel. He's now made $34 million. He's had 5 starts, 6 seasons with 5 or less attempts. How about this money stat? Jacksonville paid $30.5 million for 1 season of Nick Foles, and now he's on the Bears replacing Chase Daniel, or maybe replacing Mitch Trubisky. You want to really bum yourself out if you're a Bears fan? Look at the amount of resources pumped into the Trubisky trade and then everything around that to just move up a spot. All right. Sorry, I don't want to bum you guys out anymore. Get a teammate who can help you navigate the unexpected. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Festival draft begins now. And now that we have free agency out of the way, we are doing our first ever festival draft. I don't know if anybody's ever done this. If somebody has, we apologize. But here are the rules. We want to talk over each other a ton. We're all separated. Chris is still with me, but Big Cat from Barstool, from Yak, from
Yak.
Okay. I remember like Will Ferrell did this bit once where he's like, he had introduced Jerry Seinfeld at something, and he goes, "You know him from the Arsenio Hall show, Jerry Seinfeld." And he was pumped that Jerry was like, that was actually pretty funny. All right, so here's the plan. I know the rules are sort of on the fly. We've had a lot of debate about this. We're each going to put together a festival lineup. We're allowed 10 picks each here. So we're going 10 rounds, 3 different dudes. What are some of the parameters that have been discussed? Because we still may not have them all locked in minutes before we do the draft. Chris, let's start with you. Some of your requests.
We had a little bit of going back and forth on. I thought this was a venue-less draft where you don't specify the venue, but I said maybe you could pick one special guest has like a teleportation power. You can teleport the crowd and the act to whatever venue around the world you want. But I'm just going to stick with picking a venue. Is it okay if I pick a venue?
Yeah, I think there was a question, Big Cat, of whether or not we could teleport the lineup from different venues throughout the thing. And I thought once we allowed dead people to be drafted, that I just felt like superpowers and mutant abilities, because we all know that Nightcrawler was a mutant, that we just, I don't know, teleportate. I just felt like I had to draw a line somewhere with this.
I'm with you. Okay. I mean, I thought it was funny you could bring back dead people but not teleport. But as long as we can just pick one venue, if that's cool.
All right, I'll chime in real quick. So you have to be able to pick dead people, because I haven't listened. I mean, I was writing down my list and I put like 25 bands on there because I know obviously it's going to get contentious and people are going to pick each other's bands. Looking at it, I am definitely the guy that everyone will tweet at me and be like, dude, have you listened to any music made in the last 20 years? So I need dead people. I have to have dead people. I'm Haley Joel Osment. I see only dead people. Though, instead of a venue, I have decided I'm starting a festival. And I'll just throw this out there right now. I did some Googling, because that's really all we have left in post-apocalyptic quarantine life. There is a town in New Mexico called Angel Fire. It's going to be the Angel Fire Festival. So I'll just throw that out there right now.
Whoa.
That sounds like something else.
Mm-hmm. Angel Fire.
Just slightly different. I'm looking at Angel Fire, New Mexico.
Are there VIP cabanas?
Mine is going to be fairly straightforward. We will be at Red Rocks. And that'll, the good thing about Red Rocks is the elevation is going to keep you from getting absolutely like shit-faced, and you'll move to the hard stuff relatively early. So you can go all night.
Wait a minute, you think the elevation helps? You think elevation helps you?
No, elevation is going to help my festival. If you go to Red Rocks, you have 3 tall boys, and you're like, man, I don't feel great. Like, this isn't how I want to get drunk at like 7,000 feet, because it is above Denver. And not to mention, you know, if you've been there, they're like giant stadium steps of concrete, like, you know, kind of chiseled into this rock wall. So
yeah,
you gotta really do about 15 minutes on the Stairmaster to go get your beer. So you're out of breath by the time you get back up. All right, now you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we can draft dead people. I got to be with Big Cat on this one. I don't want to give away too much of my depth chart here, but the newer bands, the younger people may not like this festival lineup. So let's just, who should go first? Chris, because he's the tallest.
Is that confirmed?
How tall are you, Chris?
I'm at least 6'3".
Okay,
you're
I'm 6'2" plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, let's go by height. I guess I'm going to go last because I'm just at 6'2", maybe a shade under. Yeah. Okay. Tall group here right away. So,
just for the listeners out there.
here's what I think we should do too, is that we should do the picks, and then at the end we put the lineup in the order, almost like a batting order. If you've seen that tweet, that's been a fun one. The lineup, because it may, like, some of you guys are going to be all about talent, grabbing any name that you possibly can, like the 20 years ago, the Portland Trailblazers. But then some of you guys may draft a vibe, you know, and it's more about how they connect than it is just the names on the marquee. So is everybody good? We all have the rules here?
Yeah, I'm also going to lean dead people.
Yes, we're all going to lean dead people up. By the way, Ryan, I'll give away. I'm so confident in my list. I'll give away the fact that I'm already planning a 3-day festival, and each day has a different vibe.
10 bands wasn't enough. Once I went through it and put together my draft board, I'm like, oh my, how am I going to get rid of these guys? What am I doing there?
These are just the headliners.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this isn't the day one side stage with a lemonade stand for a charity. And if you guys want to have it be about a charity, if you guys want to have there be a message at the end, feel free to go ahead and do that. I thought about giving the Native Americans Montana at the end. Just like, hey, this whole thing was to raise money for the purchase of Montana. It's yours because it's just a great state. But don't take that because I haven't made up my mind. You like that?
I like that. Yes, I like that. I also, we won't get into side stage acts, but I did write down 2 side stage acts that I won't pick, but I threw into the mix. I think it would be pretty cool to have a festival and have Gallagher in a tent just smashing watermelons.
That was my first pick.
Yeah. And also, I if I could write my perfect festival, I would have David Blaine buried alive, like under the festival grounds for the entirety of the festival, then have him emerge like Undertaker. And that's part of the festival as well. But that's side stage stuff. We don't have to talk about that.
How is it that Big Cat's stuff is older than me?
You put that guy, is it still David Blaine? We're talking about the same person. Just see how long he can sit underwater on stage while the band plays.
Chris Angel Mind Freak. After I lose all my money the first year, the second year we'll have Chris Angel Mind Freak.
That's good because he is cheaper than Blaine. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to go with the first pick in the first ever festival mock draft? I don't even know if it could happen with your money.
People are going to look back on this draft and say, wow, that was the first one.
Wait, whose money? Chris's, I assume, because I remember when you guys had the conversation, who's richer, me or you, Russillo. I don't know if you've seen the stock market, but your boy's not doing so well.
That is not a laugh at all. No. I feel horrible about what's happening.
No, I'm not laughing I'm only laughing at rich people.
Listen,
I have buddies that don't like Big Cat that are worried about him.
I am. There's a chance that I am the world's greatest jinx when it comes to the economy. In 2007, August of 2007, fresh out of college, I entered the real estate market. I entered the real estate profession. In January 2020, I entered the casino business. So there's a chance that I am the greatest cooler that has ever been created.
Is the stock at $4 right now?
Stop. Don't say numbers, Ryan. Do not say numbers. Don't say numbers.
You brought it up, man. And I didn't, that wasn't a lot. Like, I am the last guy. Like, I don't like when people do this thing when other people are successful and they get really mad. Like when people, when Barstool sold a chunk and then Ringer was bought by Spotify, I think the majority of the reaction is just, jealousy, anger, and pettiness. And I think the great thing about this country is that should piss you off and motivate you to be like, if that's possible, I want to go do something great. But right now, I don't know. I'm just going to end it there before it ever gets negative, because I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say right now. I know that it's a stressful time over there at the compound.
Yeah,
well, we don't need to get serious.
Yeah.
All
Let's pick bear.
Right.
This is an escape.
Festival. You know what festivals are great for? Forgetting your problems.
Well, and also, people should know this is not like an actual festival that's happening right now. If it were happening right now, we'd be doing it at the University of Phoenix Arena with no one in the stands. This is going to happen when things are okay. I'll go ahead with my first pick. Shall we get started?
Yeah, I think I can already guess who it is, but
take a guess.
It's going to be Sturgill.
Nope, it's the Allman Brothers.
Oh, on my board.
Just fucking kidding. I just did that to scare the shit out of you, Ryan, because I know that's your first pick.
Is it, though?
You little fratty stoner. I am going to go with Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd off the bat. And, if you know about their shows, like they actually had crazy special effects. Like they kind of revolutionized that whole thing. Pyrotechnics, like exploding pigs. Like on the Wall tour, they had like a big wall that they were like building a 35-foot wall the first half of the show, and then like played behind the wall the second half of the show. They had like ambient noises playing when people were trickling into the stadiums. I think they're going to be wonderful at Red Rocks. And the only thing I would say off the top about mine, I know you have like magicians and shit side stage. I want churros, and I want like slides, like big adult slides at the top of Red Rocks, and they let off at the bottom, like concession slides. So basically you climb up, slide down, grab your beer. Actually, I'd like to introduce beer drones. Can I do that?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yes. Please. Yeah.
So you can take the slide to get your beer, or you can just sit there and you can get a beer via beer drone. And I'm going to go Pink Floyd, and they're going to play like Fearless probably right off the bat. They're going to play the entire Dark Side of the Moon album. Any Color You Like is going to be crazy. Careful with that axe. Some of the deeper cuts. Yeah, they're going to be the headliner for my festival.
Okay, that was a lot. One could argue, and I don't know that we can do this for all 30 picks, but Pink Floyd is such a presence, Big Cat. I just is that kind of like signing Iverson to your team? Like it's exciting, but what does it really mean for the entire group? I don't know if Floyd. I don't even know like how they have to close your lineup. There's no way they're going before anybody else.
I can get to that, but you told me to wait for the timing.
I'm sorry. I'm just, I like to pick, but.
Okay. Ahead, so Chris, I actually didn't have Pink Floyd even on my list, and that's no disrespect to Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd. I wouldn't call myself a big Pink Floyd fan. I actually had a moment about a month ago where I was thinking about, remember the ass picture with all the Pink Floyd albums? I was wondering how many of those women might be dead by now. Turns out they're still all alive. So that's good. But Pink Floyd was never on my radar, so good pick, but you could have probably gotten better value later. Not to criticize.
Well, I was worried somebody was going to steal it. They're probably my favorite band from back in the day, so I just said fuck it. Just better safe than sorry.
Dude, did you ever do that thing where you link up Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon?
No, I've never tried that shit.
Okay, my first pick.
Never tried that shit.
I did in 1996. Yeah, did it in 96.
Changed my life.
Go ahead.
All right, my first pick. All right, so I have 3 days of my festival, obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday is going to be, let's say it's the night where...
Wait, we're not doing this yet.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I'm so confident in how I've arranged my festival. I'm calling my shots. I'm telling you what move I'm going to make on the court, and you still won't be able to stop it. Friday night is going to be let's say if you are into experimental things, Friday night would be the night to let loose, find yourself. You're at Angel Fire in New Mexico. There are no rules. So my first pick, the person who's going to start the entire festival is Prince. I'm going to start with Prince.
Tough to argue with that one.
Okay.
Very high in the rankings. Live shows. I think it's strong.
You also, thinking about it, like you need something to start off your festival that everyone's like, who doesn't like Prince? You know what I mean? Like that's the one where there will be parts of my festival where you can pick and choose and like, hey, maybe I'm not in that band, but if Prince is playing on Friday night, when you roll up into Angel Fire, New Mexico, you're going to be there and you're going to be having a great time.
I love how many times you're reminding the listeners that we're in the Angel Fire Fest.
It's a little thing called branding. Yeah, it's called branding. I read Art of the Deal. I'm in quarantine.
Just have you read Art of War?
When your enemy only does chest, do legs. That was chapter 3. All right. We got 2 off the board. Prince is a good one. Here, see, my pick is not going to be the beginning of my lineup, so I'm going to have to explain that a little bit later. Okay, because they're on the board, and I'm afraid I could lose them, and it's just such a this is like, wait a minute, Doncic went 3rd. I'm going to go ahead and take Radiohead because I have a huge plan for them at the close, and honestly, there's nothing. What else do I add to the Radiohead selection than it's a no-brainer? They're a first-round pick.
I like that pick, Ryan.
40, young 40s, early 40s year old pick.
Yes, I saw Radiohead at Lollapalooza in I think like 2008 or 9. Awesome concert.
Yeah, I know 40-something. I know Pink Floyd really speaking to all the millennials.
Stuff.
No, I know. I have a new thing, as Big Cat knows, is that when the 3 of us text about music, and I try to send anything to Chris. Now, if he sends me back something, I did it the other day for the first time. Before the text went through, I wrote you back, I don't like this, because you like nothing.
I think that, like, okay, so you sent me
Lenny Kravitz this week. Beatles. Yeah, you hate the Beatles. You hate the Beatles.
I don't like the Beatles. I don't hate the Beatles. I just don't get it. I watched the whole documentary. I've tried to listen to all their music. If George Harrison isn't in the group, I got no interest.
No, I get it. I don't think you're not being respectful enough to the time of what they were at the time they did it and the evolution of that band. So the early stuff, you can have
you're doing the historical context thing. I'm just telling you what kind of music my ears like, and I can't get into it. You tried to send me Lenny Kravitz the other day. I tried to send you Green Sky Bluegrass, and you said I don't like it, like real callous. And honestly, I just went along with my day. And 5 minutes later, you're like, sorry, dude, I'm just doing this thing. I didn't mean to be mean. I was like, that went over my head, dude.
I like the bluegrass stuff, so that was a joke. Okay, so snake draft, I go. No, I'm just kidding. Whenever we do this, everybody
you can snake draft. We can snake this thing.
Snake draft.
You want a snake draft? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Up.
I didn't realize that. So that's an enormous pickup by me because I didn't think they'd be here. I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix.
Ready.
No, I'm ready.
I'm
going to go Jimi Hendrix. I'm going Jimi Hendrix, but I'm going Band of Gypsies Jimi Hendrix.
Fuck.
Yep. Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were going to be upset. What I have lined up to close the show. Yeah. The snake draft just changed everything.
Never mind on the snake draft.
Too late. Pick us in.
Golly.
Good pick.
Band of Gypsies? Are you kidding?
Yeah. Good pick. All right, so I'm going to stare down. Here's the thing. Just to talk, I'm going to give like the all 22, you know how when they show like the war room and Jerry Jones is sitting there telling all his fail sons to like wash his glasses and stuff. And like, let's look into the Cowboys and who they're going to pick this year.
I can't see the board.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give everyone a peek inside the war room right now, and just let you know that there is a silent standoff that's going on because I think both Ryan and I, one of us is going to pick Fish and one of us is going to pick Grateful Dead, and it's like who wants to go first because we know we can get value because Chris is more of a touch of gray bouncing around the room, Grateful Dead Fish fan. So he's not going to pick either. So I'm trying to figure out.
Shaw, man, Dickershaw.
Hoist, dude. Hoist is Hoist is when they came together.
You should have seen that guy's fucking face when he asked me what my favorite Dead song was, like on the spot at a bar. And I was like, Pride of Cucamonga.
Okay.
He looked like I punched his son in the nose.
Yeah.
Although that's at least you had a name there, because if somebody asked you about a Joy Division song after your shirt, like everybody wearing the Joy Division shirt,
whatever.
Whatever.
That's
no
not
one
my favorite Dead song, but I was kind of half fucking with him.
I love it.
I love it. Star guys.
Okay, that's good.
All right. So I know I got that, and it's kind of like we're sitting here, and there's two quarterbacks that we can both kind of wait on. So I'm actually going to skip ahead, and I'm going to go to Saturday, my start of the day on Saturday. So I'm thinking like 2:00. It's beautiful. Angel Fire, New Mexico. Don't know if you ever heard of it. I'm going to take, very dry. I'm going to take the band that's going to kick off the Saturday mood, and that's going to be Sublime.
I can't argue with that. No, I can't argue. Day drinking, little Sublime.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. It's the day drinking. I was thinking like, all right, the sun's going to be out. You need something to get everyone back into it because we had a crazy Friday night. Prince was awesome. He tore the roof down. So how do we get everyone back into it, feeling it, maybe drinking a couple beers, getting ready for the night show? Sublime is the perfect band to start everything back up again.
So I'm going to resist. Are you guys going to play Badfish?
We're going to play everything.
You're going to play Jailhouse?
We're going to start with Garden Grove. That's going to be that note will hit, and we'll just be like, oh man, everything's okay. Let's go back to the stage, the main stage.
You're only serving Coronas.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
I saw a guy longboarding with a Miller Lite tall boy down the Strand yesterday.
I'm going to resist the temptation to do what Dan's doing, derailing the fuck out of this draft and time slotting all his things as we go. But I will say that Pink Floyd was an evening show for me. Sun going down, overlooking Denver, greater Denver, up at Red Rocks. Golly, this is tough because I'm realizing you guys probably won't pick any of my 10. I could just lock up a powerhouse here. I'm going to get my hip hop act out of the way. There's only one hip hop act that I actually want to see
Diggable
here,
Planets.
and you got to bring the whites in with the early 2000s Outcast. But you can also play the old funkier stuff, some Southern Playlistic, and then the two bombs they dropped in the mid 90s. So I'm going to do Outcast. Outcast is going to be the late night. Kind of like 3 a.m. If you're still up, you're still partying. You love to see some Outcast, and there's going to be bubbles and shit. And Outcast.
Can't argue with that one, but you just got to always figure out how you're going to slot it in. But if someone can pull it off, it can be Outcast. As far as the rap,
it's going to be the last thing of the night. Like, so if you go to one of these festivals, it's always something real fun if you're still awake. So it might be at 2 a.m. So that puts me with the
You've always stayed up late.
Next.
Yeah.
So I've got a late night. I've got an evening. Golly. You know what? I'm going to take the Allman Brothers, Ryan.
All right.
Allman Brothers, late afternoon. Do your worst. Pick who you think my favorite act is. I don't care. It won't hurt me as bad as I just hurt you by taking the Allman Brothers. They're going to play late in the afternoon. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be picturesque.
2 drum sets live. Tough to beat it. You know, Dickie Betts just up there.
You don't even want to go on with the pod.
No, I could have taken him, but I needed
Hendrix.
I needed Jimmy and I needed the Band of Gypsies once he got past the 2 guys from the Experience, Mitch and Noel. So I like the Band of Gypsy stuff better. Look, everybody's strong right here. Okay, there's nobody's freaked us out here with Rafael Arujo pick. So great work so far. 7 in. Big Cat, Angel Fire, population 1,089 on the 2017 census. Your pick.
That's going to test the infrastructure.
Yes, that is going to test the infrastructure. We'll have to make sure we don't have another fire fest. Okay, good pick, Chris. Ryan, you could always just take the Derek Trucks band and steal some of it's like I'm not a big politics guy, but like wouldn't the Derek Trucks band be like the Elizabeth Warren to the Allman Brothers Bernie Sanders? Steal a few votes?
Whoa,
yeah,
a little political.
Yeah, they would.
Look at that. Look at me. Look at me. How about that? That was pretty big.
Yeah, it was a great metaphor.
Very topical, although, in today's climate, just saying.
All climates.
In today's climate, don't say political names.
It would tough to be going festival for festival, though.
The fuck out of it.
Yeah.
By the way, for a second, we're not getting political here, but are we living in a simulation? I'm watching Joe Biden last night on a live stream. He's getting ready to run against Donald Trump. His live stream looks like it's being managed by a teenager. It's like a black background. It's grainy. He's talking about a pandemic. What the fuck is going on? Next.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it is, Ryan. The in this climate, it's like the Michael Scott for politics. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason ever, no matter what. Ever.
Words to live by. Words to live by.
All right, I got my third pick.
Get your third pick here.
I am a little nervous about Ryan's snake draft coming up with his 2 picks. I'm nervous about one band. I'm gonna take a risk here, and I'll say who it was after he picks, but I will on Saturday after Sublime, we're gonna go Rage Against the Machine.
Wow.
Okay.
Was that on anyone's board?
Yes. They were gonna be my third band.
Wow. So I made the right calculation there. It was between 2 bands.
It's like I have a mole.
Right calculation.
I have to fire one of my area scouts because he's talking to you guys too much. Really, really great pickup by you because that was going to be a tone setter. But understand this, I still can set tones with other people here. But what made you take Rage? Because I know you're worried about what I may do here with the snake draft.
I think it honestly is just gut feel. I think you're not going to take the band that I want to end the entire festival with. And I love Rage Against the Machine. And they also are just an incredible concert band. Like, they will put on an unbelievable show. Also seen them. Like, they will not disappoint. And my Saturday, setting the vibe with, Friday, I told you, is a little more experimental, if you will. Saturday is just a good old fashioned, let's get drunk and party kind of vibe.
Yeah. I want to clear something up real quick going back. I have a question for the manager of this draft, Rye. Like, when I pick Pink Floyd, that's like Dark Side of the Moon. That's like, I mean, you can play Shine On, but Sid's still in the band.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you're good.
Okay.
I am laughing just sitting here because I know just the way Chris's mind works now after, being friends and doing the pod now, where he's like, wait a minute, is there perhaps something I'm forgetting? And then Chris wants to clear it up. And I don't know if anybody else finds that as funny as I do, but I don't know. It cracks me up every single time because it's like, Chris will be like,
this is an alternate reality.
Right. How many acoustic shows can we go with? Is there a limit on acoustic?
No.
Okay.
Can Ted Williams freeze Sid Barrett, or can I Ted Williams freeze? Like, if I'm going to go with an artist that was hot in the 70s but still touring, I'm not getting the 2000s version of some band. I don't want to say what band.
Chris, I actually think it's a totally fair question for you because depending on who picks Grateful Dead, I think they have to pick a keyboardist. I think they have to make the decision on which iteration they're choosing.
Hornsby,
right?
Pigpen,
right?
Do you allow? Yeah, is Donna around?
Dude, wait till Donna hits the stage at Angel Fire, New Mexico. Tickets now on sale. SeatGeek promo code TAKE. It will bring the house down.
The public schools in Angel Fire are ranked above average. Okay.
That's good.
I get 2 picks here. I know what Big Cat thinks I may do, but I don't think he understands that. I'm going to go Tame Impala here right now. I got to do something for the younger kids. And the thing is Tame is like Ben Zobrist. I can put them anywhere. I can have them start the show. I can put them in front of a legend. I can put them after a legend. I can have them late night. I can have them close the whole vibe down. But I just think there's too much value there in Tame. And I'm with you guys that every time you put it on, you're so happy you put it on. Like, I'm never like, I want to listen to something different.
I almost rammed my car into another car the other day because I was playing Let It Happen too loud.
They're unbelievable.
Adrenaline.
I'm going back to them a lot. And I want him to be part of this. So I'm very happy to be able to get him in the third round. I'm trying to read the other guys right now. I'm trying to think, okay, what could they possibly do here? And I'm just going to do this because I don't want to lose them, although I don't think either one of you will take them. But since Rage is off the board, I think there were other alternatives. I think there's another band that I know I don't have to worry about you guys grabbing. But I am in this deep dive of Jane's Addiction right now where I'm watching some of the 90 shows from New York City. I watched the Porno for Pyro show in 94. Not full shows because I got stuff to do. But I'm going to go ahead and put down Jane's Addiction. Whatever version, Dave, Flea, doesn't matter. But like when that thing was right, I would have loved to have been, I wouldn't want to room with those dudes, but I would have loved to just sort of watch it, observe it as it was growing, because it was this really just, I have so much respect for anyone that can kind of come up with their own lane, and they were able to do that. We know it's going to be a good show. So back to back.
Favorite Jane song?
I like all the slow stuff at the end of Ritual de l'Habitual. So.
Good picks.
Interestingly enough, the girl on the album cover with it's just one woman with the four boobs and the which album is that?
Kate Upton?
That is Ritual de l'Habitual. And
yeah,
then,
I like Summertime Rolls. That's probably my jam right there. But that was his girlfriend, I guess, and they like made a kind of a plaster remodel of her as a conjoined twin, sitting there naked with like set on fire. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, some people didn't like that album cover and they had an alternative one, but Classic Girl, Then She Did. Those are up there, all timer for me. So
good
pick, Ryan. Good pick.
I didn't think it was.
I love this draft because music is so subjective and you like what you like, and no two people have the same music taste. So I'm sitting here looking at my draft and I'm like, I am absolutely dominating this. Obviously, because I'm picking the bands that I like. So it's a great draft to do because everyone can kind of walk away being like, that was awesome. I fucking crushed it. I made the right pick though, Ryan, with Rage, because I thought you might have this next band on your list. But I didn't think you'd pick them this early. They are the band that has my favorite album of all time. And they're going to be my
311?
Sunday night.
Will Smith.
311.
My Sunday night, 311. My Sunday night and the entire festival band. Does anyone want to take a guess?
With these fucking time slots. Old or new band?
Korn.
But still around. But maybe not, because one of them had heart surgery, and also there's been a lot of cocaine use and people, fucking
Rick
each
James?
other's wives and husbands. Thank you, Fleetwood Mac. Rumors, greatest
the
album
wives.
ever been made. Fleetwood Mac is going to end. Fleetwood Mac is going to end Angel Fire, and we're all going to cry when they play Landslide at 1 a.m. And we're going to be like, that was the greatest weekend of our life. Fleetwood Mac will end Angel Fire. That's my next pick.
Damn, dude. This is cool because I'm realizing that a lot of the bands I thought I was hoarding don't need to be hoarded at all. I guess I'll bring some young people in. You know what? I'm not, to my point, I don't think I'm going to need to hoard this. I'm going to interject a young people band here soon, maybe the next pick, but there's a few like big rock and roll bands that people would die to see back in the day. To me, Pink Floyd was one. So now you've got the Stones, you've got the Who, you've got Zepp. I'm going to throw Zepp in here and get my big classic rock bands out of the way. And they are, I don't know when they're going to play, but they're going to open Within the Light. And this is a fantasy for me because they actually didn't really play it live so much because the synthesizer stuff was so like advanced, they couldn't quite get it in front of a live audience. So in my fantasy world, they open Within the Light, and I've got Zepp.
That's too late for them, probably, but there's certain factors that go into every selection here. So I love what you're doing.
Well, I wanted to take them early, but I can tell that people aren't really, the vibe is a little bit, I'm going for it's a rock and roll festival with some new stuff mixed in. So I'm going to mix some new stuff in here. I know none of y'all are going to take them, but I want to keep the kids engaged. They'll probably call me a boomer anyways. I'm a big fucking All J fan.
Ooh.
All J.
I'm not as familiar with him.
Is that the reach of the draft?
Alt J, that is? I have J&A Plumbing and Heating.
Yeah.
Alt J.
Alt J. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. 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 You know, they were definitely on my list. I love them.
I'm sure they were.
The name Alt J was actually an organic translation of the triangle symbol, which is achieved by typing Alt J into a Mac computer keyboard. The band liked this symbol because it was used. That's what I wanted to say about them.
Yeah. Also, if you look a little closer about Alt J, they're an English indie rock band, and they were formed in Leeds, which is in the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. They were formed in Leeds. Yep.
You guys know what makes up the United Kingdom?
Ooh.
Yep.
Scotland.
No one does. I can tell we have a lot to talk about with Alt J, but we'll save it.
No, I like what you did. You picked something you wanted, but that was the first one. Right. That was the first one where you're like, whoa, okay. You know, this is when people stop being nice and start being real. So,
that's a late night band.
That's great. They're pretty muted dressers. I give them that. Go ahead.
Okay.
The show is insane, dude. I'm just telling you.
I have a new band that I have to listen to. I feel bad that I don't know how I've never listened to them. So I feel like
not a knock.
No,
you went from You went from Zeppelin to Alt J. It just freaked everybody out. We're good though. I like it. I'm going to dig in a little bit today.
Yeah, go listen to An Awesome Wave. It's one of the best albums of the last 10 years for sure.
Whoa.
Okay, I will. I actually will. Literally, I will. I have nothing else to do. I will. All right, what pick are we on? What pick are we on?
We're on your fifth.
Pick 14. That would be round 5.
Five. Okay.
Chris doesn't listen to anything.
No. Okay.
I don't listen to what?
We're like fifth round. We're good. He's like, we're at pick 4. So, and by the way, I don't know what the time constraints are here, but I just don't want to get in too much of a rush. I don't want lineups to be put together in a rush. So let's just pace. All right.
Okay, let's pace. I'll go quickly with my next pick. Pacing here, I'm going to go with a Sunday actually, I'm going to lead Sunday with this. I'm going to go, so we're going to all get up. We're going to have Friday and Saturday nights going to be crazy. We're going to start Sunday off with Steely Dan. What are you laughing about?
That's a great way. No, I'm not laughing at all.
While you're at it, my dad was listening to it in the gym when I walked in 15 minutes ago.
Steely Dan is a great brunch, like a little hair of the dog, ease your way back into it. I'm putting together a festival. I'm putting together a vibe. I'm putting together something people want to buy. You know, go to SeatGeek, promo code TAKE, and you get $10 off.
Hey, not to poke holes here. What's the nearest airport to your little found town in New Mexico?
We'll figure it out later. Ryan, you like that pick.
Not only do I like the pick, I love what you're doing. Like, hey, let's wake up early. Back in my DJing days in Negril, Jamaica, one of the reasons they brought us in from the mainland was because they were like, some of the local DJs play Biggie when all the kids are super hungover at 9 a.m. and we need you guys to ease them into this. And I was always big on like, I'd go synchronicity and then I'd back it up and it's just some slower reggae and everybody was having a great time. Everton Blender. I will not be taking Everton Blender, although he could be a great side stage guy. I think the Steely Dan wake up the next day entree into another day is, you should organize festivals after that pick. That's how good I feel about it. Colfax County Airport. Colfax County Airport is the closest airport. We're going to go ahead and get a distance on this one. I'll be looking that one up. Okay, all right. So I got 2 picks here. Oh, somebody knew the private jet landing strip immediately.
That just doesn't sound like, if it's a county airport, that doesn't sound like there's a lot of flights in there.
No, I'm not as aware of that world. And neither is Big Cat now after that stock price. Okay, here we go. I got 2. I know one that would have been picked that probably won't be picked now because people don't like what he said. But it's very important to me that I get him for the close into the show. And I'm going to go ahead and take Kanye because I want Kanye's Sunday service And what I want to do is I want the band that goes before him, second to last, to take it right until the sun is about to come up. And then I don't care what anybody thinks of Kanye right now. That Sunday service stuff is pretty cool. At least the videos that I've seen,
like
not all the music.
To me.
Yep. Then Trump's going to come in and high five him at the end of it. All right. So who else is still on the board? Blues Traveler. Board.
Oh, okay. With the fake thing.
Indigo Girls.
With the smoke.
Fallout.
Blues Traveler.
Fallout Boy. 24/7 Spies. Okay, they're the best band that I've ever seen live. So I'm going to go ahead and take them. I'm going to take them because I knew you weren't, although unless one of you are going to do it to mess with me. I'm going to go ahead and take Tool. So I solved my Rage Against the Machine problem.
You solved it with another problem. That's a band I can't get in. It's akin to Radiohead in my brain as far as likability.
My favorite development of this pod is that I've been called Boomer twice already, and Long has taken Pink Floyd, the Almonds, and Led Zeppelin.
Meanwhile,
yeah, but if you
meanwhile, I got the best draft going of all time. It's actually incredible. So you guys can fight over those.
Take a rib out so you could suck your own dick during the pandemic?
I'm having a hard time of finding any flaws in my draft. All right. I also think
yourself.
We're in a weird spot now where I think we're like almost clear of each other's bands. So it's like almost a free for all. Like I feel pretty confident that I'm going to get everyone else that I want. So I'm going to go with, so I went Sublime, Rage Against the Machine. I'm going to go with, on Saturday, I'm going to go with Foo Fighters after Rage.
Oh God, this is awesome.
You don't like it? I know. That's fine.
I'm doing what y'all do to me on the group text now.
I have a plan. That was a chess move. There's another chess move coming after that. Go for yours.
Okay. Give me a second. I got to look at my board here.
Just saying that airport's only 1 nautical mile north of downtown there in Angel Fire.
Oh, well then you're good.
The resort, though, is a different issue.
Okay, I've got. Let me see what my holes are here. If I'd have had a better big board, maybe I'd know. I'm just going to go ahead and pick them. I know y'all aren't, but I thought maybe that you guys might fuck with me and take them just to annoy the shit out of me like you do with CD Lamb. I'm going to go with My Morning Jacket. Lesser known band, but easily one of the best shows out there. Seen them a lot. I'm going to go MMJ. MMJ at 18. I've actually seen them at Red Rocks twice, so this will be easy territory for them. And then at 19, man, I could really get y'all right now. I'm going to take the Stoners, and I'm going to redirect them from the Dead. Because with the Dead, I'd like to see, I'm going down this rabbit hole with all the Jerry side project stuff, and I don't know what the rules are. Can I bring in like Olden in the Way and all that stuff?
Yes.
You know,
little China
sure.
Cat Sunflower. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, look, it's your pick. It's your festival.
So if I take Grateful Dead, I can do all that side stuff.
No, I think you have to pick. You can't pick Grateful Dead and get Olden in the Way. You have to pick Olden in the Way,
okay,
or you have to pick
never mind.
Jerry Garcia band.
Resurrect the fuck out of Bob Marley.
Okay, good pick. Maybe I had him on my board. Yes.
It's hot. It's like 4:00, whatever it is. It's the perfect start to a festival, and people can get a nice bed of lettuce to start their afternoon off, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I like that pick. I had that on my board.
Nice, bro.
Okay.
I actually think that's the best pick so far. I really do. The only thing that would make it better, if it were Peter Tosh, it would be better. But I also know that, you got to play to the audience right now. And if you had a lineup with Bob Marley, you're going to sell more tickets than my Peter Tosh festival.
Well, also Peter Tosh, this just in, he came to hang out at the festival, and he's going to do like a song or two with Bob. So
I don't even know what the rules are anymore, but I like it.
Also, Goody Mob just called, and they said they're just hanging out. So like CeeLo's for sure going to be there with Outkast. So
this festival's on fire. All right, Danny.
Sorry, I can't keep up with them.
You taking the Dead here?
Nope, I'm not taking the dead here. I told you I was making a chess move. Foo Fighters are going on after Rage. Dave Grohl is going to stay on the stage. He's just going to switch instruments. We're going to finish with Queens of the Stone Age. Queens of the Stone Age to finish Saturday night. My favorite live band that I've ever seen. I've seen them probably about a half a dozen times. They put on an all-time show. So my Saturday lineup is now complete. It's starting with Sublime. It's going to Rage. It's going to Foo Fighters. Then Queens of the Stone Age.
Wow. I did not expect that. I thought you were going to say he's going to stick around and then it's going to be Nirvana with that group from The Big Short. What's that poly whatever? I can't remember. It's like a million singers and they're all in robes. They look like a cult, but they do a cover of a Nirvana song during The Big Short. Remember that? No? I'm going to look them up real quick because I thought about having Nirvana and then having them play. You know, right now the commissioner's calling. He's like, you guys are on the clock.
So I'm going to do it live because Nirvana's only good live.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. We will get back to the rest of our festival draft and lineup, but right now, ZipRecruiter wants to let you know the best teams start with great talent, but finding the right people can be a challenge. Not always easy to find a team that wants to trade the best receiver in the NFL for a running back that nobody cares about anymore, but Arizona found him. When it comes to hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter can help you find the right candidates for your team fast, from healthcare to manufacturing to business services and more. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Ryen Show, RYEN Show. With their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right skills and experience for your job and actively invites them to apply. You can even add screening questions to your job listing, which is cool. So you can filter candidates and focus on the best ones. So you get the people out of the way just by having those questions up there. So that's a nice little addition of things going on over there at ZipRecruiter because they are so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, to try ZipRecruiter for free, my listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ryen Show. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RYEN Show. ZipRecruiter.com/Ryen Show. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Okay. I know you're not going to take them, so I'm not going to take them yet. Just to be safe, I'm going to have Santana. I'm going to take Santana here, because I want to start the show with Soul Sacrifice. If you've seen the Woodstock version, I challenge you to watch that and not be fired up. That's going to be the first song.
Carlos Santana? I'm writing it down.
Right. So Santana is going to start the entire show, Soul Sacrifice, and it's going to be like a wake-up call to the entire audience. Like, hey, this is real. It just got real. Strap up. So then because
Rob Thomas comes out.
No, Rob is actually, I gave a pick up to ban him from even showing up.
Out of the festival.
And by the way, my festival's at Manhattan Beach, just so I don't have to drive to it. So,
oh, nice.
We're going to do a big
festivals in South Bay. Love them.
Well, we're going to do, you're a big Redondo guy. So we're going to do a pier thing. My next pick, I'm going to go with Miles Davis, but I want the group with Jaco Pastorius, Chick Corea. I think Stanley Clark was involved in that crew as well. Oh, wait a minute. Stanley, they wouldn't have 2 bass players. John McLaughlin, some of that stuff. I know what you're thinking. Are you kidding me? You know what? You make it 20 minutes in a silent way and tell me you didn't have a good time. So it's going to be a little bit of an introduction thing to everybody, where I know you guys are going to think that's the worst pick of the entire thing, but I'm putting Miles Davis right there in the middle. I'll let everybody adjust to Miles because that's how he rolls.
Miles Davis. Okay.
Good pick.
Miles Davis.
Good pick.
Pick 22.
I like that pick.
I'm not going to slander it.
Okay. I'm going to make a couple moves here. I don't think, all right, I got 3 bands. I don't think I'm going to go back to my Friday night. So we started with Prince. If you remember, we're going to go from Prince. We're going to go from Prince into David Bowie. And I get all of David Bowie, everything.
I'm going to say I'm not a big Bowie guy.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
That's fair.
Now, I think you're pandering now.
I mean, we're doing weird things on Friday night. So that's part of the plan with David Bowie.
Yeah, I think Bowie visited the States and decided, okay, I'm going to be really weird. Like he hung out with the real weird punk rockers and then was like, now I'm going to be weird. That's one version of it.
Do you guys have like earpieces? Because it's really hard to hold like a handset and go through your big board.
I can't imagine the struggle you're on right now.
I'm at my parents' house. This sucks. I had to like ask for permission to use a landline.
All right, you got 2 picks
and then
here.
I'm walking in and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a festival thing with Ryan. Daddy's like, hey, Boston's on. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Wait a minute. Boston's not a terrible pick. I would go with yes over Boston.
I would have thought maybe you might pick Boston.
I'm not that. I'm more of a yes guy than Boston, but I appreciate it.
So what round is this here? We've completed. We had Miles Davis, and then who'd you just take? Big Cat, did you take somebody?
David Bowie.
David Bowie, yeah. Read about that guy's personal life.
He took Nick Foles. You're fading on us right now, Chris. Lock in.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th pick in the Boomer Fest draft.
Take Jimmy Buffett.
No, Jimmy Buffett. Although I did go to a Jimmy Buffett concert with Jeff Fisher.
Wait a minute, that should be its own podcast.
Damn,
I know
the Fisher festivals.
Damn.
Yeah, my boy Fish. We went to a Jimmy Buffett concert. I took one of my teammates who, let's just say, is not in the Jimmy Buffett demo, and he was looking like I don't know what the fuck I'm watching right now.
Is that when they switched you to which side you played on? Is that when he switched you to the right one? He's like, you know what, I like Chris. I'm going to put him in this other position.
Fish never put me on the right. Fish was actually a good coach.
Oh, all right. Never mind. We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this here. Okay, I've got some rock concerts. I've got a hip hop. That's done. We've got 2 new bands. We've got some Southern stuff. We got some. Okay. Golly, this is tough. I don't have any electronic music. Do you think I need your help, guys? Do I need some electronic music?
I'm not against it. I thought about Dead Mouse. I have Zed here on the board.
Yeah, Dead Mouse would be cool, wouldn't it? I'm going to go with, fuck it. I'll do Pearl Jam, man. I know some people are going to, this is my
rock fest.
4-year-old white dad pick. I'm 5 years ahead. But, Jeff, name drop, amen. Shout out to me, Mike Wilboning right now. He'll get me backstage. I'll be able to meet everybody and hang out, even though I'm the festival head.
Yeah, it's your festival.
It's good to know somebody. And then it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I've seen it multiple times. I actually saw them at Bonnaroo with the Flu. That was my own Michael Jordan Flu game, if you've heard of it. And I saw him in St. Louis, Eddie drink like 4 bottles of Merlot. I counted them, like 4 through the concert. People were throwing him alcohol and he was just ingesting it. And they played Teenage Wasteland, or whatever the fuck it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They played Teenage Wasteland at the end. They turned the lights off in the Enterprise Center, home of the Stanley Cup champions, reigning champs. And they turned the lights off. Everybody got up to go. They really held it for like a minute, and then Teenage Wasteland was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm taking Pearl Jam.
Chris, hold on. Quick Eddie Vedder story. My Eddie Vedder story, not to name drop, Michael Wilbon name drop, but in 2015, when the Cubs beat the Cardinals in the first round of the playoffs, I got invited to John Lester's house afterward for a party. Eddie Vedder did a little acoustic set for everyone there. He also smelled horrible because I don't think he had showered for the entire playoff series. I think he was doing something like a little mojo. No, I mean, he was the nicest guy ever. I'm just saying, like, stating facts. Like, we all were dealing with our own stuff. Like, he was doused in champagne. So he had a different vibe going, but very nice guy.
Listen, my Eddie story, and this is embarrassing, but I was really drunk. Eddie set the tone that night. And I do know Jeff because Jeff vacations up in Montana. He's on the same lake as we are in the summer. And Jeff's actually from Montana and lives in like Missoula. So Jeff has me backstage, and when somebody has you backstage and like clearly like who wouldn't want to meet Eddie? I've never met Eddie. I've been a Pearl Jam fan since I was a kid. My first concert ever was Pearl Jam. and I was shit canned, but I also wanted to make sure I kept my eyes on my buddy. I didn't want to like be scanning the room for Eddie. You know what I mean? You don't want to look disrespectful. So he introduced me to a crowd of like 3 to 5 people in the middle of a conversation with me and Jeff. And as I'm leaving, I say to my buddy walking out the tunnel under Enterprise, I go, man, that was really cool. It was great to see Jeff. I would have loved to meet Eddie. He's like, dude, we met Eddie. I had no idea Eddie was that short. So like, I just looked right over his head. Like,
him.
So I shook Eddie Vedder's hand, had no idea I did it, was crazy embarrassed. But I'm still going to go with them at 8. I think that's still a good value. And at 9,
you guys can make up. Yeah, you guys can make up. You can invite him to the festival and say, "Hey, sorry about that time I met you with Jeff.
Sorry about the time that me and nobody accidentally didn't realize I met you." I wouldn't even call that big timing because that would be predicated on being popular myself. So I'm gonna go with. It's getting thin here, guys. I've got pretty much. Okay, I need a chill kind of set between 2 Ragers, and one of my favorites from that era is Otis Redding. And I just think, although it's going to be a lot of slower stuff, the group's going to need a little slowdown. And when he plays "I've Been Loving You Too Long," the place is going to be dead silent, mystified, mesmerized. Otis is going to play about an hour set.
Okay. Things
Good
really
pick.
slow down there. Yeah, they slow down there.
Yeah, good pick. All right, my next
Slow
pick.
down there.
Yeah, I have. I'm completing my Friday now, so just a refresher. Angel Fire Fest, New Mexico. On Saturday we have Sublime, Rage Against the Machine, Foo Fighters, Queens of Stone Age. On Friday we have Prince, David Bowie, and then Ryan. I will take Fish. I just want on the record, if I had taken Grateful Dead, I would have went with Brent Midland. That would have been my keyboardist, but I'm going to go with Fish on Friday night. Again, the experimental night. That's the night where, whatever happens kind of thing. We're going to get a little funky. So that will finish off my Friday night at the Angel Fire Fest.
Nice.
Smart pick. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you right now, the dirty little secret. I wasn't taking Dead or the Fish because I just don't want those people ruining. Like, if you have an entire Dead crew show up to the festival, then it kind of becomes a Dead show and it isn't about your festival. This festival has an identity, and I'm not anti, as you both know, how much I like those bands.
Bingo, dude.
But I can't have 70 vans. There's not a lot of parking in Manhattan Beach anyway. And there's not enough room for the vans. And then it becomes, it's tough. It's tough to orbit around that moon, if you know what I'm saying. So that leaves me
you make
with
a great point. I can't have the Dead also as a little bit of a spoiler here in the middle of Colorado. They'll dominate the festival. They'll stand there confused during the Outcast set. Yeah.
I can't imagine. It'd be like being Christian Laettner on the Dream Team. You just don't know what to do.
It's bringing sand to the beach if you're in Colorado.
Here we go. I'm going to go with Talking Heads because I think it fits in perfectly with what I was going to do. And you know who almost made the mix here? Fishbone. They didn't. So who am I missing? One more pick. Because I wanted a little bit of a reggae thing. So I was thinking Fishbone.
Barrington Levy?
Sure. No. Bobby McFerrin? No. I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I feel like I had this whole
Limp
thing.
Bizkit. Just do Limp Bizkit, bro.
Solo? Fred Durst?
Yeah, just Durst.
Noah Fleck and the Fleck Tones.
Like, I wanted to get Public Enemy into the mix, but then what am I going to do if I'm going earlier and then the S1Ws are there and then just everybody that was like, I was here to see Tame Impala. This is a bit aggressive. I don't know what to do. The Pixies would be a nice pick.
UB40.
Oh, you know what? Give me the Police. But give me early Police. Give me
that's a good one.
Give me the Police, but I want pre-synchronicity. Not that I don't like synchronicity. I just don't want it when Sting was like, I'm probably over you guys. Police. That's going to be my reggae vibe. They're going to be doing a little bit more of that French West Indies thing. You know what I'm saying? Probably don't.
Good pick.
I didn't know you were into martial law. There's going to be no police at my festival.
Oh, well done. That was a good joke.
Nice. Ryen, good pick. I also want credit for predicting that you were going to have the Talking Heads. I wrote it down. Talking Heads, one of Ryan's bands. I had Pearl Jam as one of your bands, Chris. So I mapped that out, knowing which band you guys were going to probably take.
Maybe you're better at this.
I have to leave after this pick, so I'll let you guys wrap up and discuss everything. So my last pick is going to be on the Sunday. Remember, we start with Steely Dan. We end with Fleetwood Mac. This is a kind of recoup your mind. Don't get too crazy kind of Sunday. I'm going to go with LCD Sound System in the middle of that. So it's going to go Steely Dan, LCD Sound System, Fleetwood Mac. A little something for everyone. A nice little Sunday to send you on your way. Get a little reflective about life. Feel like, things are going to be okay, even though you probably did really terrible things to your body all weekend long. And that will be my festival.
Wow. Okay.
Chris, hold on before, because I have to actually go. So you guys will recap, but let me just throw out like a few others that I had on my short list, just so that when you discuss at the end. I had Wilco, I had Stevie Wonder, and what was the other one? Oh, I had the Lumineers. Those were all on my just missed the cut.
Oh God, you had the Lumineers.
I fucking love the Lumineers, man.
I love that it was brought up.
Dude, you give me an October, November day, maybe the sun's setting like 5:30. You get that crisp air. You put on a little Lumineers. I could write a book. I could be Ryen Russillo.
No, dude. Just no.
Yes.
Listen, I thought you were killing it until you mentioned the Lumineers.
I don't care. I will not be shamed for Lumineers. No, I won't be shamed for Lumineers. All right, I got to go. You guys let me know how it ends up. And then also I think Kyle's going to be the one who decides who won, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle, you just decided it. Nephew Kyle.
Just pick a white guy, just one white guy, and let him decide.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks. That's Big Cat from Yak.
Or dude.
Yeah.
Okay, Rye. So it's just you and me. I need your help a little bit here because, as I'm rounding this festival out, I'm looking at, Isaac Hayes is in the mix, but I don't know if the kids are going to really be into Isaac Hayes. But then again, the front runner for my 10th pick is to infuse some real heavy metal into this thing and go Black Sabbath.
Mastodon's still available.
Frozen, like Ted Williams style from the late 60s, like the Black Sabbath album. Like they could just play that album and then a couple from that next album. And I think that would satisfy some of the harder rock and roll crowd.
What do you want to do? Like, do you have your opening statement and do you have your close? I assume Pink Floyd's your close, right? Because nobody's going to want to follow that.
Pink Floyd is not the last show of the night. This is what we have to work on is the ordering. But I think what's going to get you to come to my festival more? Here's some names that were floated. Okay. Neil Young playing at Red Rocks.
Is it Neil Young and Crazy Horse or is it an acoustic set? Because a lot of fans on both sides of that.
I'm thinking Neil Young acoustic.
But see, then I think about like the Raging Guitars and Cinnamon Girl and Cortez, and I think I'd be more inclined to want.
We'll save Neil Young, although I feel like he would be at home right there.
I like the Neil Young
pick. Say again.
I like the Neil Young pick. I have him on my board, but I just didn't take him.
Do you like Deadmau5 or do you like Black Sabbath? That's what it's coming down to.
I love Deadmau5. I really do. Black Sabbath.
Deadmau5 5.
Okay. All right.
Deadmau5 5. I saw him at Governor's Ball. And
you did. So you liked him.
Like some dude was like, huh?
You liked him then. So you're not just saying this. You're not trying to be cool.
I love Deadmau5, dude. Yeah. I think I've seen him a couple times and it's some of the most intense shit ever. And then I got to see him. Some dude at the end of Governor's Ball was like, yo, my boys, we know somebody with Deadmau5. Like, do you want to come? He's doing this club thing. And a club packed with like 300 people. Definitely fire code violation. Deadmau5 without the mask, drinking Corona Lights, just like spending the entire night.
We should have done this podcast about your best.
It was awesome.
we could have done one just based on your experiences in the mix, because
in the mix, bro.
In the mix.
I stay in the mix.
So you have the order then? I can do mine while you're looking at yours if you want.
Now. Do you have your order? Why don't you work on your order while I hash mine out?
Right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, here's what I'm doing. Santana, Soul Sacrifice right out of the gates. Whoa. Then we're going to ease you back into it with little Tame Impala, who are capable of kind of going a bunch of different ways. Then we're going to do Miles Davis, 1969, In a Silent Way, back to back. Trust me on this one. If you don't like jazz, this is different. He actually was criticized a lot for going in this direction, but he put together the best players ever on all that stuff. McLaughlin and Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock are all on that piece. Stanley Clark, Jaco Pastorius are not. Then I'm going to go Talking Heads, because they're kind of adaptable. The whole thing where I think even people that don't know that they like the Talking Heads end up liking the Talking Heads afterwards. Then we're going to do some early Police reggae vibe. And then I'm going to wake you the fuck right back up with Tool, maybe Eulogy to start. Just whoa. So now like Tool, you're like, this is another level. But then Jane's is going to be out of Tool, where it's a little rowdier and not as technical, but we're building here. And then Jimi Hendrix, Machine Gun, Bandit Gypsies, that live album, incredible start to finish. And then Radiohead can do whatever they want, because they could not play any of their hits and people still like it. I would like maybe Kid A start to finish with some stuff. Maybe Paranoid Android. And then Kanye, As the Sun Comes Up, Sunday service. And if he wants to do Blood on the Leaves, that's great too.
Wow. Okay. This is going to take a second, but I guess Bob Marley's going to open, Allman Brothers afterward. As you're
so you want everybody to be so
afternoon.
High. Yeah, you just want we want everybody to be wicked high the first 90 minutes of the show.
Is that how they used to say it on the Vineyard? Wicked high?
You know, I was saying wicked back before I even knew it was something we made fun of. We just didn't know. And so now I just
say bitchin'?
No, never. My first experience with that kind of terminology would probably be 6th grade into junior high, when you started trying to say stuff that sounded cool. Like I remember one kid named Justin who was kind of a bully, but he was actually a nice kid. And he came up to me and we were just somewhere like a basketball practice. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go over there and rank on those kids?" What? Like, what do you mean? What? I mean, just look, I was like 12.
Here, dude.
Yeah, and it still stands out. Like, I'll just never forget this kid. He's like, "Hey, let's go over and rank on them." And he was like really into popularity. Be like, "You should." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "We'll go make fun of him." I'm like, "Oh." And he's like, "You're more popular than that guy is. Let's go rank on him." I'm like, "So that's how it works? Like, this is what high school and junior high are about? If I'm just more popular than you, I'm just supposed to make fun of you the whole time?" I'm like, that's kind of sucks. And then Mint was huge in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, I'd say 89, 90, maybe some other places. But I say Wicked now just kind of to keep it alive, because I think it's funny.
Well, Wicked is certainly regionally appropriate for you. I don't say any of that stuff. I'm looking at it right now. I guess what time of year is your festival happening?
Manhattan Beach, it can happen anytime. It's like 71 degrees 8 months of the year here. So I would say it would have to be outside of whatever the winter, like it wouldn't be right now. I wouldn't want to mess with August because a lot of people are gone and all the volleyball tournaments. I don't know. Hell, I might throw it out there in September.
Okay.
But it's really about me not having to drive anywhere. You know, if it's my festival, I'd like it to be convenient.
I don't want my festival to be too hot, because the sun is pretty strong up there above Golden, Colorado. But here's the order I think I've settled on. And this is assuming that everybody stays awake, okay? So I took your advice, and I am going to close with Pink Floyd. The sun could be coming up.
Yeah.
I'm going to open with Bob Marley at 3 p.m. We'll put the Allman Brothers on at 4:30. Pearl Jam comes on at 6. They're a real 6 o'clock. They're a late afternoon band. Then we've got MMJ as the sun's going down. And then we've got Led Zeppelin after that. They're going to open with In the Light. This is, again, a fantasy world. Otis Redding is going to calm things down at 11, let people's batteries recharge. Alt J at midnight. They will be banging. It's going to be a build up to Outkast at 2 a.m. Outkast is going to go 2 to at least 3:30. Pink Floyd is going to play until the sun comes up.
You have to point the Pink Floyd experience. Peak Pink Floyd is so intense. that you have to put them last. I just don't know how you could ask anybody else to go out there and follow them.
What if you're just so fucked up by 3, 4 in the morning
that you're not going to be able to experience it all? I don't know. I got to admit, have you ever seen any of those Pink Floyd videos? I think they've kind of encouraged it. I remember the first time,
but following all that, I mean, you could be drained. You gotta pace yourself. You're gonna be puffing the tree from like 3 to 6, and then you're gonna be drinking Miller Lite Tall Boys at 6 with Pearl Jam. You'll start, popping the harder stuff with MMJ, Led Zeppelin. By that time, your face is melting. Otis Redding, you're kind of chilling out a little bit. You're trying to get your feet back under you, and then you get drunk and fucked up from all J on.
Few could survive that entire lineup without taking a nap at some point. And maybe Otis Redding just calms you down, not to be disrespectful to Otis, but it's just, hey, if you got to shut your eyes
for a little bit
there.
That's what he's there for, dude.
Yeah.
He's
regroup,
soothing.
Maybe a Dasani or two.
He's soothing.
And there you go. I know we originally planned to talk any free agency. Did we just lose him?
Yeah, we just lost.
Okay, it looks like we lost Chris. We're going to get him back, I think. Today's episode of the Ryen Russillo podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network is brought to you by State Farm. Just like basketball, the game of life is unpredictable. Talk to a State Farm agent and get a teammate who can help you navigate the unexpected, like Chris hanging up on us. He was done, but then we got him back. So get a teammate like Chris who can help you navigate the unexpected. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Okay, he's saying call back now.
He called us.
Yeah, okay, now he's saying I'll call you. Sorry.
All right.
We're leaving this in, right?
I'm rolling, man.
Yeah, let's just leave it in. Cheers. It just makes it real. There he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I thought you were out. The perfect timing of it all. We're leaving the whole thing in there, so you were not out. I do want to ask you before we say goodbye about Brady. I'm not surprised by this after learning about how the negotiation that wasn't really much of a negotiation went down. Bill treated Tom like anybody else. And it's hard to argue, as I've said, against Belichick's approach. I'm not going to sit here and do that. I would think Tom would be talked to a little bit differently, but he wasn't handled any differently. And if the Pats just didn't want to go to 30 million, I have a bunch of stats I can go over here and say, all right, all of these collectively show that Brady's declining here a little bit. So it can bother me a little with the way Belichick handled this, if this stuff is true, but I also get it. And like I said, it's hard for me to argue against it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I think you either took Brady's silence to mean one thing or the next. I think there was a lot of people that were in denial. They thought he was playing this long game to drive up his price in New England. I thought that all along he had Bill had a cap on what he was willing to do to get Tom back. And I don't know if it's something that where both parties are actually relieved it didn't work out. I saw that like state TV in New England was already kind of angling to make this a Tom left us thing. And I have seen that some fans are like kind of taking Brady's side. And this is just kind of what happens if you're somewhere 20 years. I mean, eventually you get tired of each other and your value isn't the same as it is in maybe Bill's eyes. And I think that when it came down to LA, most importantly, when it came down to LA and Tampa Bay, one would have been a brand move going to LA, playing in that new stadium, which by the way, I'm not even sure. I know the stadium's 85% done. I don't know where this virus thing is going. Like, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't know what's going to happen this fall period with football. But Tom was not playing in that old Ticket City Center or whatever it was. That Tom's not going silent count at home. You know what I mean? But LA would have been his brand play. Fill the stadium, launch whatever he's doing for after football in LA. He's doing a production company, that sort of thing. Tampa Bay is the football move. It really is, with the cap space, the receivers, with O.J. Howard, with Bruce. Bruce couldn't be any different than Bill. So, you see a lot of people get divorces. They go
wild,
marry the
a little younger.
next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there couldn't be anything different than a hoodie, replacing it with a Kangol hat, let alone a red Kangol hat. I don't think you can discount the warm weather down there. For older dudes, I know it sounds funny to say, hey, natural grass, warm weather, that's going to help him. Like, he's 43 years old. That would help me at 34. The only thing I would say about that is, and I don't know what you'd rather have, where I would be, you're playing in the AFC West and Pat Mahomes is looking down at you, or you're playing in the NFC South, and now all of a sudden you have Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina. So there's a lot of competition, but I think it's a good move for Tom. And I don't know, what do you think? You think we're going to be able to figure out, what came first, chicken or the egg, who's more important or who was more important in the last 2 decades if you took this year's sample? I don't think we're going to be able to figure it out. But it's going to be interesting.
The only part that really bothers me the most is that Kraft is trying to do this media tour where he's going everywhere saying this was Tom's decision. That's total bullshit. Okay.
State TV, dude. It's right. State TV.
And Kraft's smart enough to try to get everybody to play this, but like even Stephen A., and I'm sure Stephen A. was more excited to tell everybody that Kraft reached him in the commercial break than it was what Kraft actually told him. And that was like, look, Tom made this decision, right? And it's like, hey, sometimes like I get it. I'll get sources going, wait a minute, this person's telling me this, but this might totally be wrong. And Kraft is worried about being the guy, perceived to be the guy, because he cares about that stuff. And I would too if I owned a business, a team. But I don't know that I would go as far as to try to get everybody to believe like this was Tom's decision. Tom didn't want to leave. Bill wasn't going to treat him any differently. So Tom's like, all right, you know what? I have done this for 20 years. Screw this. And I'm sure, as I said on Bill's podcast on Sunday, the satisfaction of leaving, although a temporary feeling, is probably a really cool feeling for him to be like, all right, fuck it. Serious? I'm Tom Brady.
It does.
You're going to do this?
Fuck it.
Yeah. And that's what he did. And now he's with Tampa, where I think Tampa gives him a better chance to at least compete. Here's some numbers quick. Brady off-target throws last year, third highest in the league, behind only Jameis and Josh Allen. 2018, he was actually the second worst on off-target throws. Now, off-target can be a bunch of different things, and some would argue it's not as relevant with Brady because Brady's the best at throwing the ball away or throwing it low or throwing it where it can't be contested, and that's why he keeps his interceptions down. Okay. He's never actually been that great on the target throws. Edelman's drop rate last year was pretty bad. He had a drop rate across the board that wasn't great. But the real numbers that jump out to you is the red zone QBR was at 20. He was terrible with that. But again, is it because he had backup tight ends, unhealthy receivers, a missing center, and a missing left tackle? His numbers against pressure were pretty bad. The red zone numbers are so bad that only Andy Dalton and Mason Rudolph were worse. His 20.5 QBR in the red zone was the worst of his career. The previous worst of his career was 49.4. That's a massive, massive number. Again, the blitz numbers weren't great. The pressure numbers weren't great. And we can talk about the personnel issues, but I think collectively, like you can dismiss individual numbers here, but collectively, that's probably where Bill's like, I'm ready to move on. And as he goes to Tampa, and by the way, I'm still kind of on Tom's side, even after all those numbers. He goes to Tampa where the defense gave up a lot of points, but it's all because of their defense having to make up for the offense. They started with the worst field position in the NFL all season long. They defended the most meaningful possessions of the entire league, and they actually faced the toughest slate of offenses of any 16-game schedule, and they were fifth in DVOA. And I'm citing a lot of stuff from Bill Barnwell on ESPN.com. So he goes to a Tampa team that's actually a better defense than people realize because Jameis put them in possible situations the entire year. I don't know what's going to happen.
And this is exactly what we talked about all fall with New England's defense and their resume being inflated because of strength of schedule and the ability, at least for the offense, to play, non-shoot yourself in the foot football. I mean, they weren't great, but they were better than a group that's going to give you some quick scores, taking deep shots. You're not actually sitting on the sideline too long resting when you're dealing with like Jameis. And that's without looking at time of possession, but it's either a turnover or a chunk play and a shorter drive is the way I feel about it if I'm playing defense with Jameis at quarterback. And I don't know, that changes a lot with Tom coming in. That was a top 5 defense. You mentioned DVOA. I think that when you look at the way they perform, the way the tape looks, they're going to be a top 5 defense this year. They're able to retain Barrett, JPP, really good against the run. I think if you lined up, the Chargers, and also listen, as much as I like Tennessee, as that was like kind of a sexy pick for a little bit, Tennessee absolutely maximized their potential last year. I mean, Could they take a step forward? Yeah, but do you want to bank on that? Do you think Tom's really going to be a lot better than a guy like Tannehill, who you don't really have any tape on in that system? So that begs the question: should you even franchise Tannehill, or should you bring Tannehill back on the deal that they brought him back on? Rather, because next year things are going to change a little bit. So they maximized. It was kind of the perfect storm in Tennessee. I thought their defense could be better, although they really tightened up in the postseason. If you lined up L.A., Tampa Bay, and New England and took a quarterback out of the picture, what team on paper is the best team out of the three? With all the departures from New England's defense right now, guys are leaving left and right. It's going to be also harder without Tom. You can't really evaluate New England like you have the past 20 years because Tom's not there. So their free agency hauls are going to be different. Okay. Also, the Patriots, they get a lot of mileage out of, guys that, Bill can do extra due diligence on, extra work on. The entire draft process is going to be disrupted now. So the field has kind of been leveled. And I would say that Tampa Bay's, roster is the most conducive to him winning right now. He was it seemed like a little pissed at Bill because I've said this before in 2017 when we beat him in the Super Bowl, I felt like from that moment on, they made an overcorrection. So we're never going to get beat on defense again. And I don't care if you have a first round, wide receiver. I don't care if you try to bring AB in. I don't care if you overspent for Sanu or you've got Jules. It just didn't seem like a long-term concerted effort to get that done. Now you walk into Tampa, you've got a better roster right off the bat. So I think it's the right move. It's just weird. It's not traditional power, so nobody's going to think about it that way. But I think they have a chance to be really competitive, save for that competition in that division. That's the biggest impediment for me looking at it right now.
My final thing on Tom and the LA deal, to play for the Chargers, he'd be playing for the most irrelevant franchise in the NFL right now. I'm serious. Like, it's that bad out here. It's even worse. I don't know that people outside of LA understand how incredibly irrelevant they are. And it sucks. It sucks for Chargers fans that are down in San Diego. It sucks for all those players and the staff and all the people who put in that time. So it's not a knock on the organization, but I'm just being real here that, hey, Tom, you're going to go from this thing that's been so important and part of the first line of every NFL story here in the last 20 years to a team that is like, a guy sleeping. It's the equivalent of a guy sleeping on your couch and you're wondering when he's going to leave. As far as that brand stuff and the LA thing, these guys, you guys, I understand August and I understand the camps, but if there's one player that can make deals work by getting on a plane and not having to be down the street, it's a football player. Like, you really, you can figure this out. So when everybody thinks, oh, well, if you want to make it in LA, you got to have an apartment on Wilshire. It's just not true. And Brady, depending on when his season ends, it could be done by the end of the calendar year. And it's like, all right, let's get out there and make some moves with some of these production companies. And a lot of the athletes too, they think it's awesome. They love the idea. And then 6 months in, they're like, this is way more work than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I talked to a player in New England a day or two ago, actually the morning he signed, and he said he's headed to LA. And that goes to show you how mysterious Tom's motives are. So if for people thinking for Tom, like, we can even apply logic that we see as you look at this decision on paper that makes perfect sense to us as a possible motivation, but Tom could have a completely different motivation. And, not only that, it just goes to show, I think, to your point, that like Tom's brand is Tom's brand. He doesn't need to live in LA. I never bought that because I think what's best for Tom's brand is to finish strong wherever he goes. And, what a challenge Tampa Bay seems like to a casual fan, but on paper, that's a team that can win. That's a team that can be competitive this year. So I thought the entire thing was crazy. It didn't turn out with all that buildup. And with Tom, the buildup was just silence. There was no decision like LeBron. You knew the day would come, maybe when he left, but it was kind of unceremonious. It was just kind of like, okay, Instagram, 2 long notes. And then you find out later in the day it's probably Tampa Bay. It was St. Patty's Day, which was priceless. I mean, it's St. Patty's Day, Boston. It felt like just twisting a knife, I'm sure. You've got the town little meme mock-ups. I don't even know what they're calling those. You see Affleck and Renner. I'm sure you've seen by now. Tom was Ben Affleck, and he was telling Jules, who was Jeremy Renner, that he can come visit him in Florida. You know where they put the face on people?
Yeah. No, I'm following you right now. I
mean, it's been brilliant. I mean, it's made for brilliant content. It's been interesting, and I think the bottom line is, and I wouldn't expect anything different from Tom. And I think anybody that played with Tom is probably very happy for Tom. Because I think that everybody who played in New England knows deep down, and Lane Johnson got killed for it. But Lane Johnson was parroting what New England people say about New England. Like, that's what people are proud of in New England. It's no fun. It's tough. It's cold there. It's just football. And then if you say it, people get mad at you. I thought Lane was a little over the line with it. But
he said he'd rather win one and have fun, and then instead of winning multiple.
Yeah, that was something. And ironically, you forget that Lane was doing that on PMT, and he kind of got roped into it. Dan and PFT, who are masterminds at getting you to say what you shouldn't say. But I think that guys that have played up there know that it's a grind and it's cold, and as awesome as it is, it can be a challenge. And Bill's not exactly the guy with the best bedside manner. And, I think even playing there for a while, like, you wonder and I know this little rant's going to be the one that the Ringer puts on the thing with the sound waves in the background.
Might be that alt J pick
music, but I wonder, fly on the wall, what those conversations were like behind closed doors. Like, what is that relationship really like? When they did the top 100 thing, it was weird to see them talking like that, because you never see it. And so 20 years of that, no matter who you are, as much you might love New England, just think about warm weather, a player's coach, a guy that says, don't skip your kids' basketball games for anything. Like, you can come in at midnight, but those basketball games, the recitals, the plays, like, they don't happen twice. So football's not everything. The weaponry, it's got to feel good. Like you said, to just pull the trigger and say, fuck it, he's got to feel good for a day or two. Now, how he's going to feel in a year, we'll see. And a lot of that, I think, has as much to do with how he does down there with what Bill does up in New England. That starts with what they're going to do at quarterback.
Yeah. To wrap this up, if you're Brady, you can't look at it and go, so you're going to treat Stephon Gilmore with more respect than you do me as a free agent? I'm out. And that's what I would have done. Hey, we're good. We went so long today that
the best was Big Cat breaking down the time slots every pick.
I know that. I'm laughing that I said 20, maybe 30 minutes, and it was over an hour, and we weren't even done. So we'll do some other free agency thing later on. And thanks as always, man. You can check out all of Chris's stuff, Chalk Media and at Joel91.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I think we're doing a rewatchables, Bill and I, but we're also going to do Sunday's pod too. So the plan is we're going to keep doing Sunday's pod for the most part. Maybe something comes up here or there, but yeah. And again, everybody, stay safe and do what you can. I'm not a preachy guy, so I'm not going to, but had my first close friend diagnosed with this, and everybody's different, so that person's going to be fine. But like I said, I'm not going to get preachy. You that are out there that are smart enough to know what to do.